Each spring in southwestern Alberta, a quiet and remarkable transformation begins. Inside a small nest box, a female mountain bluebird will create something extraordinary. An egg that holds the blueprint of new life. But how does new life begin, grow, and flourish? Using intimate nest cam footage, along with scientific illustrations, this video will reveal the hidden journey of a mountain bluebird egg. From its creation inside the mother's body, to the moment the chick breaks free of the egg and begins to grow. Our story begins with Cobalt, a male mountain bluebird who has just returned from his wintering grounds in the southern US and Mexico. Mountain bluebirds do not mate for life, so his goal is simple: secure a nest site and attract a mate. Oh, he may be in luck. A nearby female named Azura could be interested. But this isn't her first rodeo, so she's not easily impressed. Oh dear, a little dinner perhaps? Maybe that did it. Mountain bluebirds are secondary cavity nesters, meaning they are unable to create their own nest holes. Instead, they depend on existing cavities, often created by woodpeckers, or sometimes these specially constructed nest boxes. Competition for nest sites is intense. Tree swallows, house wrens, and other cavity nesters all compete for the same limited spaces. So for many bluebirds, these nest boxes can mean the difference between nesting successfully or not nesting at all. Their courtship begins as Azura starts construction of their nest, while Cobalt remains close by to protect both her and their territory. She begins by filling the nest cavity with coarse grasses, then shapes a small cup about 2 inches across to hold the eggs. Cobalt's sperm can be stored in Azura's reproductive tract for several days, allowing multiple eggs to be fertilized from a single mating session. Inside her body, the egg begins to form. The sex of her chicks is determined at the point of fertilization, and all the genetic instruction needed to build a new bird is contained in a tiny disc on the surface of the yolk. The embryo begins developing almost immediately, with the yolk serving as its primary food source. Layers of albumin, what we know as the egg white, are added next. Rich in water, protein, and protective compounds, the albumin hydrates, nourishes, and protects the growing embryo from infection. A thin membrane called the isthmus then forms around the egg. Finally, calcium carbonate is added, hardening into the familiar blue shell. This entire process takes about 24 hours, which is why females only lay 1 egg each day. Once laid, the egg now faces new threats, including bacteria that could enter through microscopic pores in the shell. So as the egg ages, the albumin becomes more alkaline, creating an environment hostile to bacteria, yet ideal for early embryonic development. A typical clutch contains 4 to 6 eggs. Incubation lasts between 12 and 14 days, and usually begins after the last or second last egg has been laid. This timing helps ensure the chicks will all hatch closely together, and allows Azura to slightly adjust the hatching schedule in response to weather and food availability. She alone incubates the eggs, thanks to a specialized brood patch, a featherless area of warm skin on her abdomen. When she settles onto the clutch, she wiggles slightly, exposing the patch and creating a direct heat transfer with her eggs. Inside each egg, as the embryo develops, an air cell begins to form at the blunt end. As hatching approaches, using a temporary structure known as an egg tooth, the chick punctures the inner membrane, taking its first breath from air trapped inside the cell. It then uses its egg tooth again to crack the outer shell. But just prior to hatching, the chick absorbs the remaining yolk sac. This will provide it with enough nourishment to last for several hours, thereby giving it sufficient time to rest and dry off before the parents begin its feeding. Unlike ground nesting birds like these mallards that hatch with eyes open, fully feathered, and already able to swim, walk, and feed themselves, Mountain Bluebird chicks hatch blind, featherless, and completely dependent. Without feathers, they are unable to regulate their body temperature. So for the first few days, Azura will continue to keep them warm with her brood patch, especially on those cool spring nights. For now, Cobalt delivers most of the food, but soon, to help satisfy the ever-increasing appetites of their growing nestlings, both parents will begin flying almost constant feeding missions. Their disproportionately large beaks and mouths are designed to facilitate maximum food intake. High in calories, this abundant food will double their body weight multiple times during their first week alone. Within 5 to 10 days, their eyes will open, and as their feathers begin to grow in, they can now regulate their own body temperatures. By 3 weeks, they are fully feathered and becoming strong enough to withstand the physical demands of flight. Within a few more days, the nestlings will all fledge, completing an incredible journey that began with the creation of a tiny bluebird egg. From something so small and fragile, new life now takes flight.